Hey guys, Pro1701 here, and today I'm going to be ranking the second Doctor stories that I haven't seen yet, basically in the order that I want to see them, from, least interested to most interested, although I'm interested in all of them. Now, Troughton has 21 stories in his original run. I'm not counting his multi-Doctor stories, but 21 in his original run. I've seen 14 of those. I own 13 of those. The only one I don't own I've seen is the Ice Warriors because it's very meh. But there are 7 of his I still haven't seen yet, so about a third of his stuff I haven't seen. A lot of which is, of course, just due to missing episodes and hoping they're animated, etc., etc. Starting at the bottom with number 7. And before I start, actually, let me mention that this list could be very different next week. You never know. My lists are very fluid. This just happens to be how the list falls today. Number 7 is the Highlanders. I would like to see the Highlanders. It's Jamie's first story. I like Jamie's one of my favorite companions, but I hear not good things about this story. I hear it's not very great. It's not very interesting. It's going to have to be completely animated, probably with the 3D animation, which hopefully will be much improved from what they did with Web of Fear. But I still don't know if it'll be as good as the 2D stuff they're doing. So I'm not quite sure what the animation is going to be like, and the fact, again, I hear bad things about it. So it just, while I still want to see it, it's at the bottom of the list for now. Number 6 on the list is Underwater Menace. And the main reason Underwater Menace trumps Highlanders is that half of it still exists. It's such a tragedy that so much of Troughton's era is missing. Especially since Troughton's Doctor is, so much of him is down to his body language and his facial movements. I've talked about that on the channel before, but a lot of the second Doctor and Patrick Troughton are down to what he's doing with his face while he's acting and how his body language moves. I recently did a video comparing the animated version of Evil of the Daleks with the surviving version of Evil of the Daleks, episode 2, where I showed that and compared that. But just having half of the story existing does make me want to see it. I know it's very over the top. I know it's not held in very high regard in the fandom, and I know the fish people look utterly ridiculous. But I would like to see it just for that, and I'm pretty sure they'll probably use the 3D animation just to animate the missing episodes, and that's fine because it's only half the story. And having half the story, especially since it's season 4, and so little of Troughton from season 4 survives, I want to see it just for that. Number 5 on the list is Wheel in Space. This is another one I hear isn't very good. I do want to see it, 1, because it's Zoe's first story, 2, because it has the Cybermen in it, and I like the Cybermen, even if I'm not that impressed with that design. Season 5 is my least favorite Troughton story, as I find a lot of the stories in it to be good but overrated, as I've talked about before. But even this one I hear isn't super great. I think it's one of the lesser Cyberman stories from Classic Who. But I do still want to see it nonetheless, because it is a Cyberman story, and I really enjoyed the little 10-minute animated version of it that was on the Macroterra release. I really liked that little 10-minute short. It definitely intrigued me, and I really hope when they animate it, the animation is as good as that, even though it probably won't be. They need to get Sun and Moon Studios back. But I do want to see it. Number 4 on the list is The Mine Robber. This is one I actually started to watch once before, just a few minutes into episode 1, but I was so lost at what was going on, I stopped. I was confused. What in the... But now that I'm familiar with what's going on in the story, I know what the story is about and how, it's very based, fantasy land, fantasy things being, even for Doctor Who, very out there. I am looking forward to seeing it. I know it's held in really high regard by the fandom. A lot of people seem to really like it. I think the whole thing with Jamie's face being wrong sounds pretty neat. So I am actually looking forward to seeing that one. Plus, it is a completely surviving Troughton story, so that's definitely got me excited for it as well. Number 3 on the list is the Dominators. I don't know why I want to see the Dominators as much as I do, but I really do. 1, again, it's a completely surviving story with Troughton, so that's definitely got me excited for it. Just to be able to see, a whole Troughton story with no animation needed is always an amazing thing, since we only have 7 complete stories. About a third of his work is complete, so that's going to be really nice. I actually tried to watch this last week, but the website I was on, it was slow, it was lagging, and I got just a couple, barely into it. You know, they're on that little spaceship talking about the island, and now nobody comes back, la 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 la. And then they end up not paying attention and crashing on the island. It's like right after they crash on the island, I just stopped watching because it was stuttering. It was having to load, and you know, I don't want my first experience watching the story to be that, because I'd just be annoyed. So I'm gonna wait till I either buy the DVD or the box set comes out or something where I can watch it in a way that doesn't frustrate me. But I do definitely want to see it, despite its reputation. Number 2 on the list is the Space Pirates, and I know a lot of you are rolling your eyes, but a lot of you know that this is just one I want to see. I do want it animated. I know it's not considered very good. I hear it's very boring. I hear it's very padded, and I have actually done a lot of research into a lot of the behind the scenes stuff on it, and from the sound of it, as good as Bob Holmes is, he just had a lot of stuff forced on him. Maybe it's why he's better during the Hinchcliffe era. He was actually the script editor and could do what he wanted to do, whereas here he had to do what he was told to do. You know, I understand it was like supposed to be a 4-parter. They got stretched into a 6-parter. I know the main cast were away filming the War Games in episode 6, so they're just there for the filmed inserts. I remember even Patrick Troughton, from what I understand, didn't like this story and thought it was dull and that people were going to turn off the TV. So when Patrick Troughton's going, God, it's so boring, it's probably boring. So I accept the fact it's not going to be a good story, but I think this is a good opportunity for when they animate it, because I'm sure they will completely animate it, for them to maybe trim some of the dead time out and possibly make it larger than life with animation. I think this is one you definitely take a macro terror approach and kind of just do your own thing with the animation and not really be stringent to being exactly like the 60s version. I think this is one where you just try to improve it and make it better and at least tolerable, if possible. Again, this is one I more just want to watch for the curiosity of it, just because I want to see it for myself and have an opinion on it. And it's Bob Holmes, and I like Bob Holmes, so I want to see it for that. And number 1 on the list, the Abominable Snowmen. Now, this isn't even my favorite one from a narrative standpoint that I'm most interested in. It's more because I've seen Web of Fear, and I know this is, you know, the flip side of that, the other side of the coin, so to speak. Web of Fear is basically a sequel to this story, so I do want to actually be able to see this one too. Again, also to have my opinion on it. That I'm pretty sure the animation's going to look good for it. I don't know why. I really think this story's going to turn out really well, and I really think I'm going to enjoy it. And that way I'll have, you know, I can watch Abominable Snowmen and go straight into Web of Fear. That'd be really neat. So that is how I would rank the stories I haven't seen from the Second Doctor in the order that I'm most excited to see them. I would like to know what you think, if there's any Troughton stories you haven't seen yet, and what you think of these 7 stories and how you would rank them in order that you like them if you have seen them. So comment down below and let me know. I always enjoy hanging out and hearing from you guys, I should say. I always enjoy hearing from you guys. Other things to do, click the like button, click the subscribe button, and click that bell for notifications as well, so you never miss out on a new video. I also have a Patreon. If you like what I do and would like to contribute to what I do, there is a link to that down in the description below. My entry-level tier is only $2 a month, and it goes up to, I think, my highest tier at the moment is $20 a month. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.